The passports have arrived. Thank you, Jesus.
Today is February 5th, 2026.
Now, allegedly, they shipped it on 1:30, so it's been almost a week. It arrived yesterday. It shipped on the 30th, but of course we had inclement weather. But thank you, Jesus. Like, hey y'all.
Where that identity at?
You need to give us submit the passport information, because otherwise your start date is in jeopardy. But fear not, we have a freshly printed Pasapuerto. Back in the register of deeds to get our passports. It is January 21st, and we are in downtown Raleigh, heading to the post office to get our passport situations figured out. So Darian, his expires on March 13th, so he needs to get his renewed, and then I need to get my name changed on mine. So we are getting that taken care of now and expedited so that everything is good to go for visas and work permits. So got the marriage certificate, the passports, the money, and the passport picture. Lots of learnings along the way so far, but we'll share those later. Yes. Yeah. New empty passport books. Oh, it's laminated. Oh, this is that new.
Wow.
Telegraph. What it called? Telegraphics.
You're just making up words.
They got. You gotta.
The joint super laminated. Okay. Wow.
Oh, this is nice.
We got 26 pages to fill up.
We got 26 pages. That's exciting. Yeah. So I had to get a new one because whilst we got married on October 7th, 2023, this one has been traveling. So every time I was getting ready to go renew, I was like, dang it, I can't do it because I already have another international trip planned, and it was planned under Brian Thompson. Mm-hmm. But now we cooking.
And my passport was going to expire March 13th of this year, which would have been devastating because we go.
You would have been left. I mean, go ahead, sorry.
We go through the whole visa process, and they have information that is accurate. But by the time we actually try to leave this country, my passport will be expired.
Yeah.
And guess who would be stuck?
Yeah. Wow, this is like, you cannot replicate this. They have perforated numbers, color shifting ink, microtext, watermark. Yes, this is one hurdle that we are able to get over. Thank you, Jesus. Now, what is interesting is I still need my marriage certificate in order to change the name on my driver's license. That marriage certificate is still with the Secretary of State or whoever.
Oh yeah, they send. So yeah, when they send your stuff back, they explicitly said when we were at the passport office in the Justice Center, they send you 2 different packs of information, packs. So there's one with your passport, and there's another one with whatever auxiliary information you had to send.
So your old passport, and then for me, marriage certificate.
Yes. So that will be forthcoming. But now we have what we need to fill out whatever information to start the visa process.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Jesus. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the information. I have to scan both of ours to submit it to the onboarding team today. I also want to follow up on yesterday. It's like the one asset that we do have. It's almost like a forced sale. Because honestly, I was very sad that it felt as though I was forced to sell the house that I purchased, and we've been paying towards, never missed a payment, never late on a payment. And just because some powers that be decided on a cap for the number of houses that can be rented out, I now have to give up my property. Like, that just felt so backwards. And so Darian definitely helped me get to a place of acceptance yesterday, where it's like, okay, I accept that if this is our fate, then we still know that God has his hand on the journey, and there's a reason as to why we're having to go the route of selling versus renting. I also am someone who I struggle with a no that doesn't make sense. Like, I struggle with being told no when the rationale
is unclear, and it's beneath some administrative fluff.
Yeah.
That if you actually dig into it, the reason why you're telling me no is just because you don't know the answer. For real. So, she talked through why the rationale didn't make sense according to the HOA for the first response, for the first no. But the more she detailed it and brought up receipts, it seemed to be an administrative miscommunication / lack of transfer of information from one community management company to the next. Mm-hmm. And we've been here since 2020. It's now 2026. There was a transition that happened that there may have been a lapse in communication about what's going on specifically with the rental capacity for this community. So,
and to go into more depth with that, so in 2021, I was renting out the first floor of the house for travel nurses, and I continued renting out the first floor of the house for some time, and I had gotten written permission to rent out, and email and everything. You've been approved by the board. I was never told that the permission that I received expired. I was never asked if I was still renting. I was never told that I had to stop renting. Like, it was just no communication. And so I spent about 30 minutes on the phone with HOA today. This is my 4th time calling them this week, because I'm literally just like, this can't be right. So they asked for receipts. So I did send them the screenshot of the email correspondence I had with the original community manager. And now I guess it's up to the board to either honor that initial approval or come up with another reason as to why we can't. And honestly, I go back and forth about whether I would pursue further, maybe on the legal route, honestly, because it's like, it's more than like if we had an apartment, right? And we were like, okay, we need to break our lease, or, this, that, and the third. Like, this is an asset that we've worked very hard to acquire and also maintain. And so,
and probably literally on the back half of it all, renting out the property and maintaining ownership over the next 10 to 15 years, understanding the rate of growth that Raleigh is experiencing, and specifically the amount of infrastructure that is going in and what that makes for property value, and just what that means for building equity over time.
Yeah.
This ain't just like a short term. Well, we lost, quote unquote. If there's a way to maintain, then it is worth not taking that first no at face value.
Yeah. And we have had our fair share of run-ins with the HOA where I've asked them for a rationale as to why we can't do something. And they have said, oh, we'll get back to you. And they never do.
And for clarity, HOA is just like 5 of our neighbors.
Yeah.
2 of which...
The board.
The HOA board is just like 5 of our neighbors. But also, 2 of the HOA members don't even live in the community. Like...
Yeah.
It really is just a group of people just making decisions based off a document that was probably made before they even entered the mix. So, all of this stuff, where it's like shrouded in mystery and all these acronyms, it's really just people making decisions behind closed doors. And we could usually just go knock on some of those doors.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them. Because they literally don't live. One of them don't even live in the state. You're over managing from a different state. I'm not gonna put everybody into the street, but it's an intriguing thing where this is actually a pretty major decision that, from an administrative standpoint, from the community management office, if they just say, "Oh, this is just whatever," it's not just whatever to us, even though they may see it as just like another number or like another quote unquote case in a file of cases that they probably have to deal with. It's worth continuing to go down that rabbit hole. Because if we don't, then nothing will happen outside of them just finding the most short and efficient way to just move on, with a quick no.
Yeah. So from a contingency perspective, best case scenario, they're like, okay, we'll honor the written approval that you received. And it was interesting. They kept asking me all these questions around like, okay, when did you start renting? Did you actually have people in the house after you received approval? Yes. When did you stop renting? And after, like in hindsight, I wish I didn't answer that question because they may be able to justify like that there was a lapse in renters. But I was honest, and I think that this kind of goes to show that, like, to Darian's point, like sometimes people just want to give you the quickest answer and do the least amount of work. But I am grateful for the lady that answered the phone today, because she didn't just like try to give me, sorry, there's nothing we can do. Like she was like, okay, well, tell me more. Like, do you actually have documentation? They're definitely going to want to see that. This is a step in the right direction. And so, yeah, we'll see. Now, that best case scenario, they approve it. Worst case scenario from a contingency standpoint, before I reached out to HOA again today, I did reach out to one of my colleagues and friend in the real estate firm that I am affiliated with. And I was like, hey, girl, so it's looking like HOA is not allowing us to rent, because I did reach out to her on Monday asking for recommendations for property managers, because I just was like, okay, I'm going to send a quick email to HOA, let them know that we're renting out and keep it pushing. So I was like, so following up on my outreach earlier this week, they're actually saying that we're capped out for the neighborhood, and I'm going to need you to represent us as our listing agent to sell this house. And ideally, we need it sold by the end of March. And so I could tell from like her voice, she was like, okay, end of March. Like, and the reality is like the houses that are in the neighborhood for sale, they've been for sale for over 100 days now. And so that is part of just what we're navigating with this current market. but I do know that if we have to go that route, that we will be in good hands. And we already talked about power of attorney and how I haven't told her exactly where we're moving to yet. So she was mentioning like, yeah, we could do like overnighting, like the lawyer can overnight paperwork to y'all. You can send it back overnight as well. And I'm over here thinking like, ain't no overnight, baby.
The only way you can overnight is if you can freeze time.
Yeah.
While the airplane is in the air.
Yeah.
That is not an option.
It's not an option. So thankfully, like the power of attorney route, I would have my mom like go fly her up here and have her take care of that at the closing table. So we do have our plans in order, and if we have to go the sale route, I will also be asking my hiring manager if we can push back start date so that we are not worrying about having an empty house that we're paying for just because we needed to rush to Thailand. So I do, yeah, there's a lot in the air. I think I'm at peace with whatever decision we have to, like whatever outcome there is, but there needs to be like written justification that I would have missed in the bylaws regarding like you need to update HOA every year that you're renting. Like that I can eat it and be like, okay, that was my, I overlooked that, but we'll see. I'm in much better spirits today. Yesterday was a lot, but I think like I just have to keep taking the small wins, and this is a win that we have our new passports and can at least start with the visa and immigration process, because that's another big hurdle. Is like with everything happening in this administration, we gotta get this secured ASAP, Rocky. So
yeah, and among the things that we talked about yesterday with getting her back into good spirits, a lot of the stuff that I mentioned was that the fact that
off camera.
Yeah, we talked off camera. Like the fact that we're in this position is a blessing in and of itself. Mm-hmm. Even getting into this crib back in 2020, the timing of that couldn't have been any more perfect. Mm-hmm. Where when the house completed construction, it was right before lockdown for COVID-19. A month later, who knows when we would have been able to move in, or who knows what would have happened because of lockdown for coronavirus. So even the way we got into the crib, it was all in perfect timing. And everything panned out as it needed to, and in the best way possible given the circumstances. So on the way out, things will work out. Mm-hmm. And also, I said, just because things don't happen the way you would have imagined them to happen in the best of circumstances doesn't mean it's automatically bad. It just is. So removing casting judgment on how everything shapes out, mm-hmm. being realistic about merging expectations with reality, and focusing more on, as things happen, take them in stride. Take the no's with a grain of salt, take the yeses with a grain of salt, and be
anchored.
Be anchored. Because these quote unquote speed bumps or problems are because of a major blessing. And whether we have to sell or rent, we still have to let go of one blessing to make room for another. Mm. So keeping that in mind, keeping that framing, because it's important to understand, like, the thing that you prayed for, what happens when you actually get it. Mm. When you actually get it, you get everything that comes with it. The things that you expected and the things that you could have never planned for. The things you could have never even imagined, things you didn't know even existed as a possibility. So, got back to a better space yesterday. And we're at a solid space today.
Yeah, yesterday was emotional. I feel like today is logistical. And I'm also just on my warrior-ish right now. Like, I'm not backing down without a fight. So, yeah, I'm about to go put this passport in these people's portal. Can we get a... No, but like a smile so that, like, for the cover. Gotcha! All right, cool. Lovely.